A very good morning to my teachers, respected teachers, and my fellow batchmates present over here. Myself, Nandini Kumari, with my team members Neha, Nilaksha, and Noreen, presenting a PowerPoint presentation on second messengers. What is second messengers? Second messengers are low molecular weight intracellular molecules that relay signals received at receptors on the cell surface to target molecules inside the cell to get the physiological response. Characteristics of second messengers: small, diffusible, non protein molecules. They amplify the initial extracellular signal, activate or inhibit specific cellular pathways, short half life, degraded quickly after use. Now I would hand over the mic to Neha.
Thank you, Nandini. Let's move on to the next topic, types of second messenger. First one is cyclic nucleoside second messenger, cyclic AMP adenosine monophosphate and cyclic GMP guanosine monophosphate. Then second one is ionic messenger calcium, and third one is lipid derived second messenger IP3 inositol triphosphate and DAG diacyl glycerol. Then cyclic AMP, a hormone or neurotransmitter like adrenaline, glucagon or ACTH binds to its specific G protein couple receptor on the cell membrane. Then receptor undergoes a conformational changes. This activates a membrane associated G protein by replacing GDP with GTP-1X alpha subunit. This activates GS alpha subunit, binds it and activates an enzyme adenylate cyclase located on the inner surface of the cell membrane. Then the adenylate cyclase converts intercellular ATP to cyclic AMP. The increased cyclic AMP binds to and regulatory subunits and of proteins kinase A. This causes the release and activation of its catalytic subunits. This activated phosphokinase A phosphorylates various target protein enzymes or transcription factors. This phosphorylation leads to specific physiological effects depending on the cell type, like glycogen breakdown in liver cell, increased heart rate in cardiac cells, and relaxation of smooth muscles. Examples: group 2A hormones like ACTH, FSH, LH, etc. Now I hand over the mic to Noreen.
Now I will discuss about the cyclic guanosine monophosphate. Cyclic guanosine monophosphate is synthesis from the nucleotide GDP. Cyclic guanosine monophosphate is synthesis from the nucleotide guanosine triphosphate by using the enzyme guanine cyclase. Nitric oxide stimulates the synthesis of the cyclic GMP. Many cells contain cyclic GMP stimulated protein kinase that have both the structures like catalytic and the regulatory subunits. Some of the effect of the cyclic GMP is stimulated by the protein kinase G. Examples are where the cyclic GMP act as second messengers are the nitric oxide and the rod cells. Calcium. Now I will discuss about how the calcium ion act as the second messenger. Calcium ion act as second messenger as two ways. Firstly, it bind with the effector molecules such as the enzyme and activating it. Secondly, it bind with the cytosolic calcium binding protein such as calmodulin. Now the calcium ion secreted from the endoplasmic reticulum, then it bind with the calmodulin and form calcium calmodulin complex. Now it convert the protein to phosphoprotein and give the biological response. Examples are the oxytocins and the vasopressin.
Next, the phosphatidyl inositol, the derived second messenger. Phosphatidyl inositol is a negatively charged phospholipids which are the minor component in eukaryotic cell membranes. It is can be phosphorylated to form three different forms: this PIP, PIP2, and PIP3. And intercellular enzyme phospholipase C hydrolyzes PIP2 to yield two products, DAG and IP3, inositol triphosphate. And here in the inert plasma membrane, PIP2 is the phospholipase C is acting upon PIP2 and is yielding two compounds, DAG and IP3. With DAG activates protein kinase C and IP3 releases calcium from the endoplasmic reticulum. and inositol triphosphate. These soluble molecules diffuses to the cytosol and binds to the receptors on endoplasmic reticulum, causing the release of calcium ions into the cytosol, which increases the calcium level in intercellular calcium level increases and triggers the response. The peptides and protein hormones like vasopressin, TSH, and neurotransmitters like GABA binds to the GPCRs, which activates the intercellular enzyme phospholipase C, which in turn cleaves PIP2 into two products, DAG and IP3. Both these products act as the second messengers. So the cleavage of PIP2 by PLC is the functional equivalent of synthesis of CMP by adenyl cyclase.
Yes, very good and short presentation. I may ask one question. You have mentioned the protein kinase A. Then what are the subunits? You have also mentioned the subunits. But what are the name of the subunits? Can you mention the name of the subunits and which subunits helps in the catalysis?
Phospholipase C.
Phospholipase C is an enzyme. It is separate from protein kinase A. Protein kinase A, 4টে সাবইউনিট থাকে, অ্যালফা, বিটা, গামা, ডেল্টা। তার মধ্যে গামাটা হচ্ছে সাবইউনিট, ক্যাটালাইটিক সাবইউনিট। Calmodulin. Calmodulin is a protein. Okay? The one calmodulin binds to how many calcium? একটা calmodulin কটা ক্যালসিয়ামকে বাইন্ড করবে?
Yeah, name one protein which contains calmodulin complex. Example. Give example of a protein which contains calcium calmodulin motif. Go to that slide of cyclic AMP pathway, mediated pathway. In this, you must show some example which hormones participate with cyclic AMP pathway. You did not mention. Did you? What are the hormones that work through cyclic AMP?
ACTH, LH.
কোথায় লিখেছে? Oh. ACTH. And cyclic GMP?
Cyclic GMP is
Nitric oxide.
nitric oxide or adrenatriuretic peptides.
Anything else? Any other important pathway
Some calcium.
without which we cannot see? কোথায়?
জি প্রোটিন তোমরা জানো জি প্রোটিন কটা সাবইউনিট আছে বলো জি প্রোটিন? How many?
3 subunits, alpha, beta and gamma. Gamma.
How many types of alpha subunits are present?
আলফা দুটো রকম আছে জানো?
Sorry, অনেকগুলো আছে।
Alpha 1 and alpha 2.
জানো? হ্যাঁ আলফা ই আছে, আলফা এস, আলফা আই, আলফা কিউ,
টি আছে।
আলফা টি। হ্যাঁ ওদের আলফা এস, আলফা আই দুটো জানতে হবে। জিটিপিএস অ্যাক্টিভিটি কার আছে না?
GTPase, which protein has GTPase activity?
Subunit of G protein has GTPase activity.
Alpha, beta না gamma কার মধ্যে আছে?
Alpha. Alpha.
Alpha.
Yes, very good.
কোনটা membrane bound নয়? Which subunit of G protein is not membrane bound? Beta. Correct? So you must remember this is G protein you must read
It is the second
in details.
messenger. You have talked about the second messenger. Now, very easy question. What is the first messenger?
It is the extracellular molecules.
What is the first messenger?
It is the extracellular molecules that binds to a specific G protein couple receptor.
It is the hormones, all the ligands, the neurotransmitters, which produces hormone receptor complex. The hormone being the first messenger. It is the action of the first messenger is mediated by the second messenger. Okay? Hormonal action through the second messenger is reflected, ultimately transmitted to target organs. Now, phosphoprotein you have mentioned. Can you name the amino acids which gets phosphorylated? কোন অ্যামিনো অ্যাসিডটা ফসফোরিলেটেড হয় বলো তো? কার কার হাইড্রক্সিল গ্রুপ আছে যারা তারাই ফসফোরিলেটেড হয় বলো? সেরিন, থ্রেওনিন, টাইরোসিন, এই তিনটে অ্যামাইনো অ্যাসিড ফসফোরিলেটেড হয় এবং এরা ফসফোরিলেটেড হয় বলেই যে প্রোটিনের ফসফোরিলেশন হয় তাকে বলে ফসফোপ্রোটিন। হ্যাঁ, ঠিক আছে, যাও। নাইট্রিক অক্সাইড ছাড়া আর একটা হরমোন আছে যেটা যার সেকেন্ড মেসেঞ্জার সাইক্লিক জিএমপি বলেছো, এএনএফ, ন্যাট্রিয়াল নাইট্রিউরেটিক পেপটাইড or factor. Two hormones are mediated by cyclic GMP, that is nitric oxide and natrial natriuretic peptide.
A very good morning to all my respected professors and fellow batchmates. Myself Urea Dash with my team members. Today we are presenting a topic on the urea cycle and its disorder. Now, before knowing what is urea cycle or its steps, let's know about its importance. Urea cycle. What is urea cycle? Urea cycle is an important biochemical pathway which is also known as the ornithine cycle. It's run in our livers, which detoxify ammonia converts into the urea, which excreted through our urine. Now, why it is so important? Urea cycle converts the ammonia into urea. Ammonia, which is formed due to the protein metabolism, which is highly toxic for our body, especially for our brain. So it's very important to eliminate this ammonia from our body. But the ammonia generates the body generates ammonia when it breaks down the amino acid. Here comes our urea cycle, which safely eliminates by converting the ammonia into urea, a non-toxic compound. Now let's know something about the sites and steps of the urea cycle. The urea cycle is a 5 steps biochemical process which occurs in our liver. 2 steps occur in mitochondria and the rest 3 steps occur in a cytosol. Now, let's know about the first steps. In mitochondria, the ammonia combined with the carbon dioxide to form a highly energetic compound, carbamyl phosphate, with help of 2 ATP. This reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme carbamyl phosphate synthetase 1 or CPS1. This enzyme has an allosteric activator, which is the N-acetyl glutamate. This reaction initiates the urea cycle and traps the ammonia. Let's know about the second step. Now, carbamyl phosphate gives it carbamyl group to ornithine to form a non-protein compound known as citrulline with the help of the enzyme ornithine transcarbamylase or OTC. Now, third step. Now the citrulline combines with aspartate with the help of 1 ATP to form the arginosuccinate. Now, this reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme arginosuccinate synthetase. Now, 1 ATP is converted into 1 AMP and the pyrophosphate, which is equivalent to 2 ATP. This steps is very essential because 1 extra nitrogen is added in these steps. Now I request my rest members to carry on the next part.
In step 4, arginosuccinate is converted into fumarate and arginine by the enzyme arginosuccinate lyase. In these steps, fumarate re-enter for metabolism and linking the urea cycle to energy production. In step 5, arginine converted into ornithine and urea by the enzyme arginase. Arginase hydrolyzes this enzyme arginine to produce ornithine and urea. Ornithine re-enter the cycle and urea cycle continue. The step complete the ammonia detoxification. In urea cycle summary, first two steps in urea cycle happened in mitochondria and the last three steps in cytocells. First one step to produce 2 ATP and third step to ATP. Energy utilization, first one step to ATP and third step to ATP. Total 4 ATP fumarate to malate or 2.5 ATP. Total ATP consumption is 1.
Disorder of the urea cycle. Disorder of the urea cycle. Urea cycle disorder are genetically group of genetic disorder that cause due to deficiency of various enzymes. All the various enzymes. These enzymes are responsible for removal of ammonia from our blood. Any deficiency of any enzymes cause elevation of ammonia level and its toxic effect. So here is the detailed disorder of the urea cycle. Disorder: hyperammonia type 1, enzyme deficit, CPS1, carbamyl phosphate synthetase 1. Features: mainly concentration of ammonia level increases in our blood, and inheritance autosomal recessive. Then disorder hyperammonia type 2, enzyme deficit is ornithine transcarbamylase. Features: ammonia concentration level increases in blood and orotic acid increases in our blood, and it is only the enzyme deficient disease X-linked recessive. Then hyperornithemia HI syndrome. These enzyme deficiency is ornithine transporter protein. Due to defective of this gene, cytosolic ornithine cannot transport to mitochondria, and therefore this characteristic feature of this disease is hyperammonemia, homocystinuria, and hyperornithemia, and it is also autosomal recessive. Then cystinuria, enzyme deficient is arginosuccinate synthase. Features: cysteine levels are increased in blood and CSF. Ammonia level are also elevated in blood. Inheritance: it is also autosomal recessive. Then arginosuccinic aciduria, enzyme deficient arginosuccinate lyase. Features: accumulation of arginosuccinate, and it is also autosomal recessive. Then hyperarginemia, enzyme deficient is arginase. Features: arginine levels are increased in blood and CSF, and cytosine, ornithine, lysine, and arginine are lost in urine. It is also autosomal recessive. Then diagnosis of the urea cycle disorder. So urea cycle disorder can be difficult to diagnose as the symptoms can be similar to other conditions. However, there are a variety of tests that can be used to determine if a patient has a urea cycle disorder. One common test is the blood ammonia test. This measures the level of ammonia in the blood, which can be elevated in patients with urea cycle disorder. Other tests may include genetic testing, liver function test, and urine test. And also in our modern biochemistry, urea cycle disorder can be diagnosed by tandem mass spectrometry, which is a modern technique. That is more sensitive and more specific to diagnose a urea cycle disorder. And treatment is low protein diet. Thank you.
বলেছো ট্যান্ডাম স্পেকট্রোমেট্রি বলেছে, হ্যাঁ, ভেরি গুড, বাট ইউর ডেলিভারি ইজ ভেরি হেজি, মোর স্মুথ ডেলিভারি শুড পার্টিকুলারলি ইউ, ডেলিভারিটা কিন্তু আর একটু স্মুথ হবে,
দেয়ালে কেউ বসে নেই।
প্রোনাউন্সিয়েশনটা আর একটু ক্লিয়ার হবে। ওকে, তো ভালো, এমনি ইনফরমেশন ইউ হ্যাভ গিভেন অল ইনফরমেশন, মোস্ট ভালোই বলেছো। হ্যাঁ, আমি একটা জিজ্ঞেস করি, হঠাৎ ইউ হ্যাভ নট মেনশন ইন ম্যানেজমেন্ট, হোয়াট ইজ দ্য ম্যানেজমেন্ট অফ দ্য হাইপারঅ্যামোনিয়া অফ দিস ডিসঅর্ডার?
হাইপারঅ্যামোনিয়া ম্যানেজমেন্ট কি হবে?
Ammonia is very toxic. Urea cycle disorders manifest itself as hyperammonemia. So what should be the treatment? ম্যানেজমেন্টের পয়েন্টে আমরা কি বলতে পারি, কি করতে পারি? ওকে বাঁচাতে হবে তো, তার বাঁচানোর জন্য আমি তার কিরকম ডায়েট সাজেস্ট করব?
লো প্রোটিন ডায়েট, মেইনলি লো প্রোটিন ডায়েট।
হ্যাঁ,
লো প্রোটিন ডায়েট,
লো প্রোটিন ডায়েট, এটা বলতে হবে। হ্যাঁ, লো প্রোটিন ডায়েট, কিন্তু প্রোটিন দিতে হবে, একদম না দিলে হবে না।
লো প্রোটিন, প্রোটিন লেভেল ইজ লো।
আচ্ছা, আর একটা কোশ্চেন করবো ইউরিয়া সাইকেল, ইউরিয়া থেকে। হ্যাঁ, তুমি বলো, there are 2 nitrogen in urea, there are 2 nitrogen in urea, 1 nitrogen is coming from ammonia. What is the source of second nitrogen?
Aspartate.
Huh?
Aspartate.
Very good. Second nitrogen is coming from aspartate. There are 5 enzymes. তার মধ্যে which enzymes are located in the mitochondria?
Mitochondria, 3 in cytosol.
কটা লোক? 5টার মধ্যে 2টো হচ্ছে মাইটোকন্ড্রিয়া আর 3টে হচ্ছে গিয়ে সাইটোসোল। তাহলে এরকম কোনো আরো কোনো পাথওয়ে আছে বায়োকেমিস্ট্রিতে যেটা খানিকটা মাইটোকন্ড্রিয়াতে হয়, খানিকটা সাইটোসোলে হয়? ইজ দেয়ার এনি পাথওয়ে খানিকটা মাইটোকন্ড্রিয়া খানিকটা সাইটোসোল লাইক ইউরিয়া সাইকেল? আমি বলে দিচ্ছি হিম সিনথেসিস, খানিকটা মাইটোকন্ড্রিয়া খানিকটা সাইটোসোল। গ্লুকোনিওজেনেসিস, খানিকটা মাইটোকন্ড্রিয়া খানিকটা সাইটোসোল। হ্যাঁ, ট্রিপল এইচ সিনড্রোম বলেছো তো? হোয়াট ইজ দ্য ডিফেক্ট অফ ট্রিপল এইচ সিনড্রোম? হ্যাঁ, অর্নিথিন ট্রান্সপোর্টার জিন। এটা কি সিম্পোর্ট? এটা কি সিম্পোর্ট, ইউনিপোর্ট না অ্যান্টিপোর্ট? পড়েছো সিম্পোর্ট, ইউনিপোর্ট, অ্যান্টিপোর্ট? এটা কি অর্নিথিনকে ঢুকায় আর বার করছে কাকে? সিট্রুলিন। It is an antiport. Enters, ornithine enters and citrulline comes out. Very, very rare. Very, very rare. Urea cycle disorders are not common. It is very rare disorder. ঠিক আছে।
Good morning, respected professor and my batchmates. We are going to present a presentation on vitamin B deficiency disorders. So, we all know that vitamin B is a very vitamin B is micronutrients which is present occupying very less fraction in our total nutrient pool, but in spite of very less amount, it plays a very important role in nutrition need. It plays a very metabolic processes and nutrition metabolic processes. Vitamin B mainly classified into water soluble and fat soluble vitamins, and there is water soluble vitamins are vitamin B and C, B complex and C, and fat soluble A, D, E, K, vitamin A, D, E, K. So now vitamin B deficiency mainly occurs when we don't enough get vitamin B through supplement food intake, and vitamin B it is water soluble, so if it can move through water cannot be stored, must be eaten regularly to avoid its deficiency. Now vitamin B1.
Good morning, everyone. I am Tridibeswar. Let's start. The first vitamin, vitamin B1, that is thiamine. It's also called anti-beriberi vitamin. It is crucial for carbohydrate metabolism, especially glucose metabolism and nerve function. Let's see the causes of thiamine deficiency.
First of all, genetic disorder. It impair the transport and metabolism of thiamine. Then secondly, the chronic alcoholism. It affect the absorption of thiamine rather than more excretion of thiamine. Then inadequate diet intake, if we lack thiamine in our diet, and more polished rice and highly carbohydrate rich food in our diet. Then certain medical conditions like diuretic therapy and chemotherapy, the drugs are decrease the level of thiamine, and other causes like malabsorption syndromes, increased metabolic demand, and prolonged starvation and anorexia. Let's see the early symptoms of the thiamine, like lack of appetite, that going to weight loss, fatigue, feeling the tiredness, abdominal pain, feeling discomfort, also, and vertigo means.
1 minute. Go to the previous slide. See, there are many things you have mentioned, okay? But one very important point is missed here.
Sorry, sir.
One point is missed. It's not there. That is eating raw fish.
Yes, raw fish and eggs, the enzymes are.
Because it contains thiaminase.
Yes, thiamine. Sorry, sir.
And then here, the certain medical condition, you have to name few medical condition. Maladon syndrome. What is a Maladon syndrome? To mention.
AIDS, sorry, sir.
Medical condition গুলো বলো, example দাও.
Diuretic therapy. In medical conditions like diuretic therapy, नहीं, diuretic therapy chemotherapy, जिसमें केमो ड्रग्स यूज किया जाता है, तो वो
chemotherapy. Diuretic বললো?
Yes, sir.
Increase metabolic demand. If cancer হয়, thyrotoxicosis হয়, diabetes mellitus হয়, increase demand.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
No, nothing to be sorry. We're adding. You're learning. Don't worry. Continue.
If it is prolonged, then some medical conditions are seen like dry beriberi, wet beriberi, infantile beriberi, and Wernicke's syndromes. Let's see the dry beriberi. It affect our nervous system. That point leads to sensory issues. The symptoms are include like peripheral neuropathy, paresthesia, and symmetrical peripheral neuropathy. That is the key feature of dry beriberi. And muscle symptoms like legs are cramping, arms are affected, and the muscles are weak and atrophied. It also decreases our reflexes. Let's see the another beriberi, that is wet beriberi. It is going to affect our cardiovascular system and also affect our heart. The symptoms are like high output cardiac volume and cardiomyopathy. Cardiomyopathy means dilation of heart, means the fluid accumulate in our pericardial space and also increase our blood pressure. The patient also feel shortness of breath, high breath output, and the lower extremity also seen, edema is seen in the lower extremity. Then in the infantile beriberi, it affects the thiamine deficient infants of babies. The symptoms are rapid heartbeat, rapid breath, vomiting, lack of appetite, edema in the extremity, and hoarse cry, means no voice. And see the last one, that is Wernicke's syndrome. It is also called wet brain syndrome, means the alcohol's diuretic quality affect cause brain damage. In this syndrome, the two syndromes are accompanied like Wernicke's encephalopathy and Cossap syndrome. The Wernicke's encephalopathy, that is cerebral ataxia, ophthalmia, and myasthenia sapiens, and psychosis, that is memory loss also. Let's see the another vitamin.
তুমি এইগুলো জানো কি এইগুলো ফিচার তারগুলো তুমি শুধু করে
From
রাখো
all of these, we learned that its deficiency may be severe, but it can be preventable and treatable. So, for its prevention, we should take good balanced diet and with whole grain, supplementation in alcoholics and ill patients, and fortification of staple food. One clinically important point is that we should give intravenous thiamine before glucose in varicose-encephalopathy patients. Let's see the vitamin B2, that is riboflavin. It is essential for our cell function, energy production, and nutrient metabolism like fat, protein, glucose. Let's see the causes of vitamin deficiency, but it is very uncommon because it is synthesized in our intestinal flora, and it is usually accompanied with other disorder symptoms like very pellagra, kwashiorkor. Let's see if it's prolonged, one medical condition is happened like RB flavinosis. Its key feature like glottis, swelling and inflamed tongue that affect our swallowing and chewing the food, and then angular stomatitis, inflammation at corner of the mouth. For its treatment, we should take good balanced diet with especially dairy product, and we should sorry sir, with egg, add egg and meat. Thank you sir, I completed. I gave this mic to my co-partner Preeti Ghosh. Sorry, Prerna.
Vitamin B3, which is also niacin, it is also called as pellagra preventing factor of cold burger. Now, what are the causes of niacin deficiency? Deficient synthesis of tryptophan, from which niacin is produced. Secondly, in pyroxyl pyruvate deficiency, the conversion of tryptophan to niacin is not possible. Isoniazid is an anti-tuberculosis drug which inhibits pyridoxal phosphate formation, which simultaneously blocks the conversion of tryptophan to NAD+. Hartnutt's disease, here tryptophan absorption from the small intestine is inhibited. Now, talking about the manifestations of niacin deficiency, the first major one being pellagra. Pellagra is an Italian word which means rough skin. Pellagra is mostly seen in women. Now the question arises why? This is because tryptophan metabolism is inhibited by estrogen metabolites. The symptoms of pellagra can be described by 4 Ds. The first D here stands for dermatitis. It occurs in the early stages. What happens here? There is bright red erythema all over the body, especially in the feet, ankle and the face. Increased pigmentation around the neck is called Casel's necklace. The second D here stands for diarrhea. Diarrhea, as you all know, diarrhea can be mild or severe. It is accompanied by nausea, vomiting. Also, in severe cases, it leads to weight loss. The third D here stands for dementia. Dementia occurs in the chronic cases. Here, irritability, inability to concentrate, memory loss occurs. Also, ataxia and spasticity can also be seen. The fourth D here stands for death. That is, if pellagra remains untreated, it leads to the death of the individual. Now, treatment of niacin deficiency. Niacin deficiency can be treated by dietary modification. Dermatitis can be reversed by direct exposure to sunlight. Also, by taking niacin supplements, we can reverse pellagra deficiency, or that is niacin deficiency. Now, vitamin B5, which is also called pantothenic acid. Pantos is a Greek word which means everywhere. As the name suggests, it is widely distributed in nature. Now, what are the causes of this deficiency? Severe stress, malnutrition, gluten exposure, chronic inflammation, medication, and surgeries. Manifestations of vitamin B5 deficiency. Gopal's burning foot syndrome is one of the major manifestations of vitamin B5 deficiency. Here, paresthesia in the lower extremities observed. What is paresthesia? It is burning, tingling sensation, especially in the feet region. It is accompanied by staggering gait. Also, it is seen more during famine, in prison camps, in chronic alcoholics, and in renal dialysis patients. Now, treatment of niacin deficiency. Treatment of vitamin B5 deficiency. Vitamin B5 deficiency can be treated by taking dietary supplements, by treating the underlying conditions, by doing the dietary modification. Now, I would like to hand over the mic to my batchmate, Preeti Ghosh.
So next we have vitamin B6. It is a water-soluble vitamin that can exist in many forms like pyridoxal and pyridoxine, which gets converted into an active coenzyme inside the body, that is pyridoxal 5-phosphate. And then you have the causes of pyridoxine deficiency, which can include chronic alcoholism that interferes with the absorption of vitamin B6. Then you have chronic diarrhea or Crohn's disease that can hamper the absorption of vitamin B6 from the intestine, and that can be inadequate dietary deficiency and increased requirement during lactation and pregnancy, or some particular genetic disorder like pyridoxine dependent epilepsy. And then you have the manifestation of pyridoxine deficiency, which can include dermatitis, and then reduced heme synthesis, because reduced heme synthesis can lead to anemia, and neurological disorder like peripheral neuritis, where there can be demyelination due to as vitamin B6 helps in the production of GABA and serotonin and dopamine. And then you have the treatment of pyridoxine deficiency, which can include dietary modifications, supplements, and meat. Thank you.
ঠিক আছে এবারে প্রিডক্সন শেষ প্রিডক্সন ফসফেট ইজ এ কোএনজাইম
আর আছে না শেষ হয়ে গেছে তাহলে
আছে না চল এই কোএনজাইম বলো তো এর নাম বলো তো প্রিডক্সন ফসফেট হোয়াট ইজ দ্য এনজাইম প্রিডক্সন ফসফেট অ্যাক্টস অ্যাজ এ কোএনজাইম অফ হুইচ এনজাইম
একটা एग्जांपल দাও যে এনজাইমে পেরিডক্সাল ফসফেট কাজ করে
কাইনুরেনিনেস
বাবা
that's a protein.
ঠিকই বলেছিস
ভেরি কমন एग्जांपल কি
কখন एग्जांपल দাও
It helps in conversion of
transaminase reaction in decarboxylation reaction.
Hey, what is the full form of GABA?
It helps in conversion of
GABA full form কি What is the full form of GABA?
বল
লিখেছো
মাইক্রোডে একা ওর পরীক্ষা নাকি তোরও পরীক্ষা
মানে পিসফুলি হবে জানবে না
বলো গাবার পুরো নাম বলো
গামা অ্যামাইনো বিউটারিক অ্যাসিড
গামা অ্যামাইনো বলছে গাবা তৈরি করার জন্য পিরিডক্সাল ফসফেট লাগে কেন
I don't know sir
জানো ঠিক আছে
vitamin B6 yes sir
where from GABA comes
GABA
which amino acid
sorry
আরে গাবা কোন অ্যামিনো অ্যাসিড তৈরি হয়
which amino acid gives rise to GABA
কোন অ্যামিনো অ্যাসিড থেকে গাবা তৈরি হয় বাংলা বুঝিস না
বাংলা বুঝি
বুঝেছি
হ্যাঁ কে পারবি তুই পারবি একটু আগে আমি বললাম না ডিকার্বক্সিলেশন রিঅ্যাকশনে পিএলপি লাগে তাহলে গ্লুটামিক অ্যাসিডকে ডিকার্বক্সিলেট করলে
বলছি ওই অন অন্ধের হাতি দেখার মতন বললে হবে না, তুমি শুধু সুর নিয়ে বলবে, তুমি হাতিটাকেই জানো না, হাতির সুর নিয়ে বলে যাচ্ছ, তাই তো? ব্যাপারটা সেরকম হয়ে যাচ্ছে। আশপাশটা জিজ্ঞেস করলে তুমি যদি বলতে না পারো তাহলে তো সেটা দেখতে হবে। তোমার প্রিপারেশনটা ভালো হতে হবে এবং আশেপাশের জিনিসগুলো যেগুলো কোরিলেটেড কোশ্চেন সেগুলো সম্পর্কে তোমাকে ওয়াকিবহাল হতে হবে। হ্যাঁ, যেমন পিরিডক্সাল ফসফেট তুমি বলতেই পারছো ট্রান্সামিনেশনে দরকার হয়। গাবা লাগে গ্লুটামেট থেকে, বাই গ্লুটামেট ডি কার্বক্সিলেজ, ওখানে B6 লাগে। এরকম অনেক রিঅ্যাকশন আছে যেখানে B6 লাগে। হুইচ অ্যামাইনো অ্যাসিড গিভস রাইজ টু নিয়াসিন, লিখেছো, বলেছো, এবার মুখে বলো তো হুইচ অ্যামাইনো অ্যাসিড গিভস রাইজ টু নিয়াসিন। কোন অ্যামাইনো অ্যাসিড থেকে নিয়াসিন তৈরি হয়?
Tryptophan.
হ্যাঁ,
Tryptophan.
ট্রিপ্টোফ্যান। ট্রিপ্টোফ্যান থেকে আরেকটা হরমোন তৈরি হয় না জানো? সেরোটোনিন ইজ এ নিউরোট্রান্সমিটার। Yes, serotonin is also produced from tryptophan, correct. আর একটা হয় মেলাটোনিন। হ্যাঁ, এগুলো জানবে, এইগুলো জিজ্ঞেস করে। ঠিক আছে, নেক্সট বলো, নেক্সট।
Vitamin B7
B7
or
বলেছো,
biotin.
B12
সাথে এসেছে
বায়োটিন বলো।
Vitamin B7 or biotin is also known as anti-egg white injury factor. Its main function is as coenzyme in many carboxylation reactions. Causes of biotin deficiency. Avidin, a protein present in egg white, has great affinity to biotin. Intake of raw egg causes biotin deficiency. Along with that, prolonged use of antibacterial drugs also causes biotin deficiency. As manifestations of biotin deficiency, it is very uncommon as it is produced by intestinal flora. However,
all the term, what is hyperesthesia?
sir, hyperesthesia is increased sensitivity in extremities.
Hyperesthesia মানে কি?
Increased sensitivity in extremities. Along with hyperesthesia, we can see dermatitis, atrophic glossitis, muscle pain, anorexia, and hallucinations. A characteristic feature of biotin deficiency is hair loss. Biotin deficiency can be treated with increased supplementation of biotin-rich food and also injection of 100 to 300 mg of biotin. Next, we have the vitamin B9, which is folic acid. The name folic acid itself suggests a leafy vegetable. So, absence of leafy vegetables in the diet can cause folic acid deficiency. Causes of folic acid deficiency, it is commonly seen during pregnancy when requirement is increased. Also in diseases like sprue, celiac disease, gluten-induced enteropathy, resection of jejunum and short-circuiting of jejunum in gastroileostomy, absorption becomes defective. Certain anticonvulsant drugs also inhibits the intestinal enzymes and folic acid absorption is reduced. Also in hemolytic anemia when requirement of folic acid is increased, in case of dietary deficiencies and also in deficiency of vitamin B12. Manifestations of folic acid deficiency. DNA synthesis is reduced as the enzyme thymidylate synthase is inhibited. Folic acid also helps in prevention of certain cancers. Homocystinemia is also seen as homocysteine levels are decreased by folic acid and also it increases the risk of coronary artery diseases. Macrocytic anemia is the most characteristic feature of folic acid deficiency. In this case, during erythropoiesis, DNA synthesis is delayed but protein synthesis is normal. As a result, reticulocytosis occurs and also manifested as leukopenia and thrombocytopenia. Certain birth defects also occur if there is folic acid deficiency during pregnancy. Neural tube defects in fetus and also fetal malformations such as spina bifida. Folic acid is treated with certain dietary modifications and also it is supplemented with vitamin B12 and vitamin B6.
Yeah, 1 minute. You just mentioned the fetal previous slide, fetal malformation. Fetal malformation. Name something. What do you mean by fetal malformation?
Like neural tube defects and spina bifida. And also homocystinemia is seen in fetus.
And
Homocystinemia is seen in fetus.
what patient will come with? You cannot make out by seeing homocystinuria, cystinuria. By seeing the patient, you can tell it might have this reason. Yeah. Size of the brain is reduced.
Size of
Yeah. Microcephaly, anencephaly. Yeah.
Next, I will hand it over to Pritham for vitamin B12.
So, vitamin B12, what is also known as cyanocobalamin, there is a cobalamin in its structure, cobalt in its structure. Main sources are mainly non-veg. Non-veg is main source of the vitamin B12, but some veg source like seaweeds also present for vitamin B12 source. Cause of vitamin B12 deficiency. Mainly intestinal surgeries, so that intrinsic factor got reduced and vitamin B12 can't reabsorb. So that's how vitamin B12 deficiency occurs. But heavy alcohol usage, certain medication, the acid in hyperacid, then vegan lifestyle, aging also cause vitamin B12 deficiency. Manifestation of vitamin B12 deficiency. Folate trap. Simultaneous folate deficiency and symptoms of folate deficiency. In folate trap, in homocysteine to methionine pathway, methyl tetrahydrofolate converted into tetrahydrofolate in presence of coenzyme vitamin B12. If vitamin B12 was not present there, so methyl tetrafolate got trapped, and so that that's cause folate trap. And then main vitamin B12 deficiency manifestation is megaloblastic anemia. If there vitamin B12 deficiency, so DNA RNA cell division got hampered. So there is in case of cytoplasma, very high cell division got hampered. It's arrested in S phase. So cytoplasma growth is very high. So it causes macrocytic anemia, which is known as megaloblastic anemia. You can show bigger cells in slide. Then homocystinuria. With help of vitamin B12, homocysteine converted into methionine. So if B12 deficiency occurs, so homocysteine accumulated and it go through our urine. So that's cause homocystinuria. Then manifestation of vitamin B12 deficiency is one of the greatest manifestation is demyelination. If vitamin B12 deficiency occurs, then methylmalonine coenzyme and down converted into succinyl CoA. So it decreased fatty acid synthesis. So this cause decreased myelin synthesis, and that's how demyelination occurs. And subacute combined degeneration, in this step, demyelination also vitamin B12 deficiency also cause succinyl methylmalonyl coenzyme A converted into succinyl CoA, succinyl coenzyme A with help of vitamin B12. If B12 deficiency occurs, so succinyl CoA don't got in enough amount. So that's how so fatty acid synthesis also got decreased, and that's how degeneration of subacute combined happened. So that that's caused Romberg sign and Babinski sign. Huh? हाँ सर बेबिन्स्की साइन जानी से पाए से
Plantar
ওটা যায় না
plantar কি plantar extension না কি plantar কি plantar extension হবে
ওটা জানি স্যার বেবিন্স্কিটা জানি Then sir, treatment of B12 deficiency, its mainly source, its main source is non-veg. So non-veg supplements is very important if there are no stomach problem. And megaloblastic anemia is treated with folic acid only, but this may aggregate for neurological signs. And intramuscular injection of vitamin B12 is given in treatment of B12 deficiency. Supplement can't given because supplements can't bind with intrinsic factor because intrinsic factor got hampered. Then final conclusion, crucial role in our body. Vitamin B is very important, crucial for energy production, various metabolic processes. The deficiency can cause fatigue, weakness, and growth. Diverse manifestation. Vitamin B deficiency can cause dermatitis, the anencephaly, the hematological processes, and neurological signs. So its deficiency manifestation is very much various. And treatment typically involves supplements with vitamin B deficient vitamin B, often through injection of high dose oral supplements. Can treatment from vitamin B12 deficiency. Prevention, awareness of risk factor, dietary choice, and regular monitoring for its risk individuals can help prevent vitamin B deficiency. Thank you, sir.
Vitamin B deficiency may cause anemia. You have mentioned.
Sir.
Which vitamin deficiency may cause anemia?
So vitamin B9 and B12 both can cause megaloblastic anemia.
B9, B12
and B6.
B6.
Yes, sir.
How B6 develop causes anemia?
Allocentesis by
Allocentesis, yes. Very good.
coenzymes এর PLP
Coenzyme of the allocentesis.
হিম তৈরি
The
হয়
rate
first
limiting step of the heme synthesis.
yes, anemia হতে পারে।
ঠিক আছে, ভালো বলেছো।
Thank
ঠিক
you,
আছে।
sir.
Okay. Anyway, this was a very long actually topic. You all did well. Good. But next time when you speak to somebody, please look at them. Don't look the other side. তুই তাকিয়েছিস। তুই তাকিয়েছিস। তুই তাকাচ্ছিস। B vitamin deficiency punishes anemia. B vitamin different forms. Which forms? So how do you? কিভাবে ডায়াগনোস করবে?
Intrinsic factor হচ্ছে গিয়ে প্যারাটাসেল থাকে। এক্সট্রিনসিক ফ্যাক্টর হচ্ছে ভিটামিন B12।
তাহলে কি টেস্ট করবে ফার্নিসিস অ্যানিমিয়া ডায়াগনোস করার জন্য? কি দেখতে হবে? গ্যাস্ট্রিক কন্টেন্ট বার করে অ্যাসপিরেট করে দেখতে হবে ওখানে ক্যাসেলস ইন্ট্রিনসিক ফ্যাক্টর আছে কিনা।
ফলিক অ্যাসিড ডেফিসিয়েন্সির জন্য কি টেস্ট করা হয় না? ইউরিনে কি টেস্ট কি করে ইউরিনে? এগুলো ফুল ফর্ম কি? কি বলেছো? পড়েছো?
হ্যাঁ বলো। ফর্মিমিনো গ্লুটামেট। ফর্মিমিনো গ্লুটামেট। গ্লুটামেট। নিস্টেগমাস কি? বল। হ্যাঁ? র্যাপিড আই মুভমেন্ট। তাহলে একটা লোকে যদি নিস্টেগমাস তুই ভিটামিন খাওয়া সেরে যাবে? এটা কিন্তু একটা সিমটম, কিন্তু দ্যাট ক্যান বি ডিউ টু মেনি কজেস। One of the causes B1 deficiency, Wernicke's encephalopathy. What is Korsakoff psychosis? কি হয়? সাইকোসিস। ঠিক আছে।